I think what you're talking about is Mitak. So that we're, how that's used, how it's shared is, means a couple different things. But I think the thing is that you could say we're all related. Everything is related, So, but the way I understand what you're talking about is spirituality, and spirituality itself is that is how we carry ourselves, is our relationship with the Creator. And so I had a difficult time earlier in my life in regard to alcohol and drugs. And the only way I was able to overcome that was through spirituality. But I couldn't find it. So I was going around to these different churches, I was going to ceremonies, and I couldn't find the spirituality that everybody was talking about. And eventually what happened is that maybe it just took enough times or searching until finally it just clicked. And then I was able to get sober. And so within that sober life is that I come to understand is that everything that we do is going to have some type of consequence. So as we move ahead, if we're always doing things that are good, then what's going to come, the consequence that's going to come back on is a good thing. And so you see in Christianity and within the Bible, you see it in just regular traditions of people that say, whatever we do is going to come back on you. So how you live your life is related. So it's kind of a circular piece, this concept. But I think the most part in regard to the interrelationship of all things is a spirituality piece that is in regard to how we live our daily lives, and just having faith that things are going to turn out the way they're supposed to turn out. That we're only a piece of this larger concept of spirituality. We're only here to do our little part. Is Russ MacDonald, was he supposed to just be here and be this president of this college and that's the life? Or perhaps it's Russ MacDonald being a president of a college to implement an educational initiative that creates an opportunity for some Indian person or a student that ends up being the president of the United States. We don't know this. We don't know that part. But what we do know is that if we have faith in a Creator and that plan for us, that all those things are going to work out. That all those things all those things will be the way they're supposed to be. So we don't worry about that too much. And I think the thing is that we just do the job that's in front of us today, and realizing that but that doesn't mean that we can't have a short-term, intermediate or long-term goals for our lives or for our educational systems. It just means that we do today, and in the end, somewhere down the road, 5 years, we look back and we see where we're at and we see what we've done. And then maybe we see what the plan was for us for that short period of time. Or maybe we see what the plan was for our entire lives. Maybe we had to go through everything for whatever we went through in order to be who we are today. And so that's the spirituality piece of this and the interrelatedness of everything that's happening. So my interaction with you today, it's going to, maybe it produces something today. Maybe it affects somebody down the line today that's going to help them. And I think that to find this spirituality piece that we all continue to search for, or try to live on a daily basis, and those things are all interrelated in that sense. And so, or that's that the spiritualness of the things that we eat, the things that are grown and are provided to us, the animals, four-leggeds who provide themselves for us to live, and so those things are all a part of that picture. And so to that end, if you come down to the core of all the spirituality and all the values of American Indians, I think for the most part, especially up here in the Great Plains, is that this value of respect. We respect one another and we treat each other with respect, and then we're on equal ground in regard to that. When somebody looks down on somebody else and we're off of what our cultural belief system says to how to treat one another, whether you come from a Dakota, Hidatsa, Sanish, or a Christianity background. Christianity doesn't say look down on people. So there's parallels, I think, between these two belief systems that we all have to recognize and really live this what we're preaching, in a sense. If we're going to be a traditional person, then live that way. If you're going to be a Christian and call yourself a Christian, then live that way, and continue on down that path and do what you're supposed to do as a Christian. Do what you're supposed to do as a traditional person. These are the things that I think in regard to spirituality, how this interrelatedness is. And what happens, I think, is that if you're trying to live that way, I believe that there's a blessing on you, that your way is made for you, that the things are going to be in place to put that you need in order to have success with whatever you've been assigned to do, even though you may not know what the assignment is. And so you just go on the road and you say, well, there's this job, but there's, as you do that job, there's things that open up and that have to happen, and so you do the things that you need to do, and then with the resources that are provided to you. And I think that's where we end up. I think that's where we end up in regard to spirituality, and more than that. And if you talk to these older guys and you hear these older stories, and if you read it in the Bible, people had the ability to heal. People had the ability to bring people back from the dead. And if you really carry your faith in such a way, in that strong belief system, whether you're a Christian or a traditional person, then what happens then is that you'll be able to do those things, and because of your belief, because of your faith. And but those are gifts that are provided to you. It's not us that heals people. It's the power of the Creator that uses us in order to heal that person. It's in the same sense in regard to an educator, is that God has given me this life in order to help out with education. So I think that those things have to be recognized, the spiritual piece of this. And in my perspective, that's the importance of that.